Alright guys, we're back. Check this out. The Ethereum pointing downwards, breaking below two very important support levels. I've mentioned it last time we were here, which was probably, I think it was 2 days ago, right? Price was just coming off after failing. This was a huge failure, by the way, breaking above 185.38, which to be honest, I actually kind of expected. But I wasn't surprised at all to see that failure to break through and the turnaround. And when I was here 2 days ago, price was still trading above 176.19. And I specifically said that it looks like price is trapped, completely trapped between 185 from above, 176 from below. And I suggested that I believe that the 185.38 is going to win that battle, is going to prevail, meaning price is going to be able to break below 176.19 and later on 173.14. Now, the same day, a couple of days ago, ended up breaking below 176.19. That was the first sign. That was the first cue. And it did help me to, basically to establish a bearish position. I started small after price had broke below 176.19. And don't forget that I do have a relatively large holdings on the Bitcoin going up. So every time I try to find an interesting bearish opportunity, I also look at it as a natural hedge to my existing holdings on the Bitcoin. And that's pretty much the case here with the Ethereum and with the Monero that we've watched previously. So yesterday was quite important because it started on the upside. It was basically trying to break back above 176.19. Take a look, right? And obviously it failed. It was too strong of a resistance. It was a support up until a couple of days ago. Then it got broken, quickly turned into resistance. Now we can see how wonderful. Now we can see the pushback of that 176.19, and price ended up closing below 173.14. So that was even better news, and this is pretty much where I decided to increase my short position here. Now at this point, I have no plans to keep increasing my position at this point because we're aiming for 159.44. That's relatively a short ride, right? This is the short-term cycle, which happens to be trading sideways ever since the beginning of April. Now, when price is coming from the very edge of that setup, then we can safely say that it is more likely that it will continue till it hits the lower section. Now, we're going to be satisfied with 159.44, but I got to tell you, according to that high we had here, there's a very good chance that we'll see price stretch out all the way to the very edge of that setup, meaning 147.50, roughly 147.40. And also we can find a 200-day moving average, which is suspiciously crawling from above, and actually, perfectly in line, I should say, with that strong key level. Actually, two key levels we have here, one very, very close to the other. So it's a classic cluster, support cluster. Well, we'll see. I'm only aiming for another 10 points, but we have to remember the big picture, the long-term cycle is still pointing upwards, right? So we're going to be cautious here. We're going to tighten our stop loss level. As long as price remains here on the downside, we will keep tracking our stop loss, keeping it close. And once we hit 159.44, we want to step aside and wait for price to turn around, because we want to try and grab, right? We want to pick up the Ethereum again and take it for the longer term, or at least for the short term, back to the higher section here. Anyway, the next step would be to adjust the stop loss level from 183.50, which this is where it sits right now, all the way to 180, still a little bit above yesterday's highest high. Alright guys, that's about that for the Ethereum. That's about that for today. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you next Monday.